My name is Grace Weber, and I'm the founder of Grace Weber's Music Lab. I think the most incredible thing you can do for another person, especially a young person, is to notice them for who they authentically are. At the Music Lab, we create a space where young people can come and be themselves and get celebrated for it. I grew up in Milwaukee, and so many of my musical roots are here. I grew up singing in the Central City Youth Gospel Choir, and I was a part of a show called We Are the Drum, and I wouldn't be the singer or artist I am today without the musical education I got here in this city. The Music Lab happens once a month at 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. Every month we have guest artists and mentors from Milwaukee and around the world come to the Music Lab and work with high school students on their craft. Whether you're a singer in a band or you want to go into the business side of music, the Music Lab has something for you. We called it the Music Lab because we want it to be a space where you can be wildly creative and use your imagination in whatever ways you want. I want the Music Lab to be a place in Milwaukee for young people to learn, meet new friends, and become the artists and visionaries they want to be. One of the greatest powers of music is its ability to bring people together. No matter what high school you go to, what neighborhood you're from, or what kind of music you play or like, we want high school students from all over Milwaukee to help create the next community of musicians in this city and help tell the rest of the world what Milwaukee sounds like.
Hey there, Music Lab, Music Lab. Welcome to our October session. That was completely off the dome, by the way. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Grace Weber's Music Lab. I am so happy to be back with you guys. If you do not know who I am, my name is Be Free, and I am a singer, songwriter, producer, and musician as well. But primarily, I am here in the capacity of the music education coordinator for 88.9 Radio Milwaukee with this wonderful program we have here called Grace Weber's Music Lab. We are happy to be continuing our season, our 5th season, mind you, for the 2021-2022 school year, and we're going to keep on trucking with this really cool theme today. But before we get into what that is, I always want to allow some elaboration on the background of the program from what you weren't able to get from that video. So as you saw, we are an entity through 88.9 that we primarily run there, but we've been in our virtual space for the bulk of the pandemic, as you can imagine, and we've been continuing to bring monthly sessions to our primary teen audience, okay? And with this, we're able to connect them with professionals who work in different capacities in the music industry. So we've had singers, songwriters, rappers, we've had music managers, we've had music teachers, anything you can think of that fits within that field. That's who we're talking to, and we're giving them direct contact with folks who are actually living and breathing those jobs. So anyone who wants to learn about it, you can do it from a live source. The other hand of that, we also like to create this space to allow for any kind of artistic growth and development for our teen audience. So we usually have open mics associated with that as well. Going to be continuing with what we can with our sessions as we're in this format, but please do stay tuned as we continue to develop throughout the year, because we'll have even more themes, more guests, and more ways for you guys to connect with us, okay? Want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, everybody who is responsible for having us here, which includes Advocate Aurora Health, American Family Insurance, the Daniel M. Sorf Charitable Trust, NPS Partnership for the Arts and Humanities, Ralph Evinrude Foundation, and of course, 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. So as I mentioned, this program is called Grace Weber's Music Lab, and I want to take a moment to shout out my girl Grace, because if you don't know, tonight is actually the very first night of her tour, her very first headlining tour, which is happening in Milwaukee this evening at the Backroom Collectivo. So if you have tickets and you are checking this out, then make sure you shoot over to the back room right after and give her some love, okay? Because it's going to be a really, really great show. Very excited to see it. I'm going to be scurrying over there myself as we're wrapping up, okay? So aside from this being a really, really cool session, giving her some energy for that, I'm excited because this is a first time theme for us, guys, all right? If you notice, we've had different themes associated with every lab session, and this month is the first time that we're going to be talking about music therapy. October is National Depression Education and Awareness Month, so we've always tried to correlate our lab things in October for something that surrounds around that. And we know that songwriting and music creation can be a great tool for these things. This is our first time being able to explore this field with a licensed professional who works in it. So very, very excited to bring this person on. Our guest is a board-certified music therapist specializing in neonatal intensive care music therapy. She received her Bachelor of Music Therapy from Alverno College in Milwaukee, hey, and completed her NICU Music Therapy certification through Florida State University's National Institute for Infant and Child Medical Music Therapy program. Her career began at the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin in 2015, and since then she's established the music therapy at the hospital's NICU, where she continues to support patients of all ages while focusing on the use of music to address non-pharmacological pain management, developmental milestones, anxiety, and more. And alongside with patient care, she's also the clinical director of the hospital's music therapy internship and practicum placement. Those credentials already let you know that this person definitely knows what they're talking about, okay? So if you are watching at home and you have never learned anything about music therapy before, get your questions ready, okay? Please make sure if you're going along, you can put them in the chat, and as we're talking, then we'll be able to bring them on. So give it up at home virtually for Melissa Neitzel. Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
So glad to be here.
Yeah, I hope that was a rousing enough intro for you there. So, guys, as I mentioned, this is a super casual format. Anything you want to write in the comments, make sure you chat it down. We are not, this is not closed off to any ages for viewership. So I know we're a teen addressed program, but if you're at home, if you're a parent, or you know somebody that wants to learn about this, shoot them a link to the video, and we're welcoming everyone. If you are a teen, however, and you're watching, then please make sure you jot your name and your high school down in the comments so that I can make sure we enter you in our monthly giveaway, okay? And you have to be RSVP'd as well. So while you're watching, you can also swing over to the website so we can get your info. All right. So that's enough housekeeping items for that. So, Melissa, is there anything that I did not mention in your bio that you maybe wanted to give more background on as far as the overview of your career and where you are now? If not, I'm just gonna jump right into these questions here.
I think let's go for the questions.
Okay, cool. So for everybody that is at home, the purpose of our sessions is to provide our audience with as much insight as possible about our guests and their roles within the music industry. Now, this is interesting because everything that we've done thus far has been very practical as far as performance-based, like being an artist or a producer. This is the very first time that we've had a music-related job that also ties or goes into therapy or healthcare. So I'm very excited for people to be able to see this crossover. Since our core audience is compiled of teens, and that's usually between 13 and 18, I'd like to ask all of our guests this first question, and that is, what were you doing at that age? So if you think about that age range of 13 to 18, what sorts of things were you involved in, music or otherwise? And can you just paint a general image of your teenage years to now?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely in high school, I took part in band where I played flute, and then also choir. Yeah, I noticed we're both
okay, shout out to the flautists.
Yeah, and then singing in choir, and then outside of school, I actually was doing accordion lessons and continuing on with flute that way. So trying to get myself involved in all of the musical aspects within high school, like the musicals and all of that.
Yeah. So. I've never met anybody that played accordion. That's interesting. Do you still play?
Yeah, I do, actually, yeah.
Wow, yeah. That's really cool. The next time we bring you by, we're going to have you have that in totes, because it's actually a sound that I had to grow to appreciate. I think everybody's has a knee-jerk reaction to it, I think. But when you actually sit and oh, this is actually very melodic and beautiful. So that's random, but no, I appreciate that. So you said that you play flute and accordion. Are there any other instruments that you have particular skill sets in?
Yeah, so actually, through college and the music therapy program, we are taught guitar and a piano that way. So that's definitely incorporated into my skill set. And then somehow along the way, I got into the drum set and
Ah,
started
okay.
doing that. Yeah, which was really a lot of fun.
The drum set's really cool. It's funny because I play a score of instruments myself, but I don't do that well. Like it's something about having to keep multiple rhythms at once and make them and keep them steady that always just trips me up. So I can do a little simple like I can do a nice little neo soul groove, but that's about all you're gonna get out of me on that. So kudos to you for being able to handle that. So, what were there any particular experiences in your youth that inspired you to pursue a path that involved music?
Yeah. Actually, music runs in my family.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so coming back to that accordion, my
Yeah.
grandpa played it and my uncle, and so it just kind of became ingrained in our family like culture and
Hmm.
who we are. So it's been basically in my blood since I was born, and that kind of got me into music just in general.
Yeah. Very cool. I come from a musical family as well. That seems to be the backstory with a lot of like musicians. Like you kind of got introduced to it from a young age, so you whether you wanted to or not, it was something that you were going to be. So luckily, it's something that you took interest in.
Yeah.
Really cool. So did you always know that you wanted to work in this particular field, or is this something that just kind of came later upon your discovery?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. I didn't know about music therapy right after high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had known that I wanted to do something with music, but the
Yeah.
path was pretty unknown because for me, like performance gives me a lot of anxiety, and so I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, being in front of a crowd is not really my thing. Um, and so I actually started to pursue composition and went down to Columbia College for that.
Nice.
So I was, yeah, focusing on writing some music. And while I did enjoy that process, it wasn't feeling as fulfilling as I was hoping. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so I actually had a friend tell me about music therapy when I was maybe, I think it was like 25. And so
Okay.
that's when I finally found out about it. And that's how I got into the program and decided this is a perfect fit. Like once I read the website, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. It's using
Mm-hmm.
music. I'm helping people. Like this is where I need to be.
Awesome. So if you guys are just tuning in at home, this is the October 21 session of Grace Weber's Music Lab, and we are here with Melissa Neitzel, who is a certified music therapist at Children's Hospital, Wisconsin. And again, if you're any teens in the audience and you want to be registered for our giveaway, just jot your information, name and high school in our comments so we can make sure you're there and we can know to pull names at the end. And share the video. Everybody can watch. So, for anybody who is tuned in and may not have a strong background or back knowledge of this, generally speaking, what is music therapy?
Yeah. So music therapy, if we're like thinking about it in a really broad sense,
Mm-hmm.
it's we're working with specific goals that we have with our client, right? And we're using music to help achieve those goals.
Okay.
So in the hospital setting, I'm working with patients to help with their pain, maybe any anxiety that they might be having during procedures. I'm also helping like parents bond with their infants in the NICU because that can be a
Mm,
really stressful environment.
yeah.
And so I'm finding ways that meet the patients where they are and their skill level and making an intervention to help address that. So I'm helping decrease their pain perception
Yeah.
and their stress levels.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I know that in our communication exchanges, there were a couple of things that I thought involved music therapy,
Yeah.
but it actually turned out to be something different. So, what are some of the common misconceptions about the specific practice of music therapy that are out there that we can probably add some clarification to?
Yeah, I think one of the most popular things I've seen like floating around the internet is like this picture of a person putting on headphones and they're like, listening to music is my therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to music is a really great form of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's not therapy because you're not working with a professional who's trained in music therapy to help establish your goals
Yeah.
and working on something very specific. And so I think the misconception can be that, or like if we're going to, like, say you go to a nursing home and maybe someone's playing guitar for some of the residents there, that's not music therapy.
I see.
It really has to be very specific.
Very specific. I think that because we generalize like the power of music, because we know that it does have the ability to shift moods and mindsets. I think you brought up a really good point. Like it's a tool, but it's not necessarily a vehicle. If that means, you know what I mean. If I'm cooking something, but I don't exactly know what I'm making. I'm just gonna be forever at the stove, you know, like that, if that makes sense. So I think
Yeah.
it's a good way to explain that, like, music is involved and it's the tool that's used, but the practicum, the actual process or the thing is the therapy that's involved in it, to know what it is you're working to achieve, pretty much. So what are you working to heal or fix or accomplish or develop in that sense? That's really cool. Yeah, I know that. I was like, is I gonna do some sound bathing? Which is also cool, but again,
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
seems like to me kind of like when like meditation, you know, like meditation and all those sorts of things are also good forms of mental health and self-care, but they have to be involved with something else or aligned with something else to know what it is you're working to specifically achieve or reduce, if you will. So thank you for clearing that up for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, can you describe what an average music therapy session might actually consist of, or how it might differ between patients?
Yeah. So every encounter that I have with a patient is going to be different. Even if it's the same patient, like the next day, the session that we have is going to look different.
Okay.
So how I operate is really getting to know what the patient's needs are for that day. So say like, their anxiety is really high. Well, we're going to work on that today
Okay.
and we're going to address that. But say like the next time I see them, they haven't slept. And so I'm going to help them fall asleep and relax and get to that comfortable state. So every day, which is one of the big things I love about my job, is that it's different. And it's really just tailored to the individual and their needs.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, I know that I mentioned a couple of different ways or different things that you have focuses on with your particular practice. So it's important to know for everybody at home, like, there's no one particular way to get involved in this. And I think it's really cool that you can tailor it to depending on what the needs are of your patient. It's kind of like IEPs in school, you know, the individual education plans. Like, everybody doesn't learn the same, you know, and I'm sure everybody doesn't receive treatment the same way either. Like, even if you go to a regular doctor, your doctor's not giving everybody just apples and telling you to go home. So,
Right.
yeah, I think that's really, really interesting. Are there any typical music genres of focus that happen to fall within the field of music therapy? Because I know people might assume that it might only focus on one type of music or one state of music, if you will. And have you found that there's a certain music that's better for certain situations? It's kind of a double question, but
Yeah. So kind of similar to the last question, every like music that we use is what the patient or the client prefers. So
okay.
that's where we're going to get the most therapeutic value. And so we have to actually know every single genre and music. Like, yeah. That way we can meet our patients where they're at.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
But I'm forgetting your second question. Is there
Was
certain
just curious as to whether you found that certain music is better for certain situations. Like I know for one of the roles, you can use music therapy to treat anxiety, for
Mhm.
example. Like, have you found that there's a specific type of music that usually works good for that?
So again, one of the really cool things that we can do is we can actually use, like, say my favorite artist. I'm just gonna throw one out there right now. It's top of my head. Let's say my favorite artist is Lizzo, and that's what
Okay.
helps me calm. Okay,
Hmm.
music therapists, we can like change the tempo, we can change the volume, and we can tailor it to do what we want it to do. And so, like thinking about anxiety, we have this technique that we have where we meet the patient where we're at, where they are.
Hmm.
And so maybe we're playing the music a little bit faster and a little bit more choppy. Um,
Okay.
and that's that's not necessarily how her song is going to sound, but then so, like, I'll be playing it on guitar or, like, singing it, and then I slowly start to decrease some of that, like, the tempo or the volume to kind of get the patient to come to the level that we want them to be at, so we get to manipulate the music and do it how we want. So, it
Very
doesn't have to
cool.
be like a "This album will help you do this," or "This type of formula will help you do that." It's really about how we can use the elements within the music to make the change happen.
It's all so it sounds like it's almost an open playing field. Really, like I love the fact that you just said like even if it's something because when I hear Lizzo, I think upbeat,
Mhm.
and most people probably do. But you're right, like you probably could adjust it to whatever the specific needs are in that moment. So it sounds like music therapy involves a lot of improvisation, like tailored improvisation, if you will. Like it's specifically for that client, but the fact that it's doesn't seem to be one thing one way every single time seems really really interesting.
Yeah.
For anybody that's watching at home, if you guys have questions about music therapy, like this is your opportunity to learn. I'm learning so much right now. We've only been talking about 10 minutes. Okay. Like I think like out of all the things within the field of music, this is the one thing that's probably been the most elusive, because we kind of have this general blanketed understanding of what it is, but being able to know the specifics of what goes into this practice and what it really involves is super cool. And I know that I've talked to a few of our youth that mentioned wanting to go into this. So I hope that you guys are checking it out or being able to come back to it to learn as much as you can. But yes, ask away any questions you have, no matter what it is that's confusing you or that you want to learn more about with music therapy. Throw them in the comments and we'll make sure we get them answered. Okay. So you mentioned in the beginning that there are several different types of instruments that you particularly focus on coming up, but that you had to learn a bunch as well when you were in your schooling for this. So, out of all the different activities or the practices, is there one that seems to be like your favorite? Do you have a favorite music therapeutic activity to practice or implement with your patients?
Yeah, one of the interventions that I like to go to a lot is doing like improvisation. I think there's a lot of opportunity in that to give our patients control, and that's not something they get a lot in the hospital.
Mm,
And so they can control the melody that they create, and they can control the tempo, and they can control how loud they play.
mm-hmm.
And it also allows the freedom for expression. And maybe sometimes, they don't have the words to say how they're feeling, but they can express it through an instrument.
Yeah.
So, yeah, providing that safe space for them to be able to express it on like a xylophone or like maybe, through of a keyboard or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always found a lot of value in improv.
Now, I have a question that just came to my mind. Like, for any of the practices that you utilize with your patients, do some of them allow for the patients to play music too?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, honestly, with the change happening through the music, a lot of the stuff that we do is music being played together.
Okay.
So yeah, so, like, we have, like, active music,
Mm-hmm.
where you're gonna have like, the patient playing with you, or you're gonna have more of that receptive, which you guys are gonna experience, at the end of this,
Mm-hmm.
where you're more just back and, like, listening and trying to chill out. Um But yeah, the more active we can be, the better.
Now, is there any particular skill set required for like somebody to come into music therapy? Like if I know that I liked this instrument, but I have no idea how to keep a drum pattern other than a neo soul beat like me, like is there any particular skill set ever required for any of these things?
No, so a music therapist should be able to structure their interventions to meet you at your skill level. So we're
Okay.
not going to ever expect anyone coming to music therapy to be musicians and winning Grammys and all of that stuff.
Right. Cool. That's a really good question. I wanted to point out for anybody that's thinking like, no, you don't have to have 2 years of band under your belt in order to really appreciate the value of a music therapy practice. So definitely keep that in mind as well, guys. Again, if we have any youth that are out there watching, jot your names down. I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Share this video at home for anybody who wants to watch it and learn more about music therapy. And send us your questions as we're going along. As I mentioned before, I know that we do have a couple of youth that have mentioned to me that they want to follow this practice or this path because it's something that's always been interesting to them. For anybody that may want to become a music therapist, can you talk a little bit about the schooling you experienced? You mentioned some of it and what led to your career. So what are some good resources for anyone who wishes to pursue this as a licensed therapist?
Yeah. So one of the websites our national organization has, it's musictherapy.org, and there you can search for colleges that have approved music therapy programs. So that's where you want to seek your degree is through an approved music therapy program.
Okay.
They are 4-year degrees, and then after that you do a 6-month internship, and then you take your boards. So then you can, call yourself a board certified music therapist.
So is this something that's separate from a regular undergraduate degree, or is it something that's like the same thing, like the 4-year program?
It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
And some colleges they may call it like a bachelor's of music with the focus in music therapy, but yeah, it's the same. And your coursework is music. So you do have your theory classes and some performance classes, but you also have psychology and like human anatomy. So you want to understand some of the science and how the body works,
Yeah.
as well as how psychology works as well.
So you got a full cornucopia of of things to study there. So you got the music aspect and then the actual science that goes behind it. That's really, really cool. This is it's a much broader genre, much broader field than I think what people led on, or not you, but like what we're led to believe because it's not always at the forefront of information for us. So I'm so glad that we're able to have this conversation. One of our viewers chimed in with the question. They mentioned, what kind of music do you play for the babies and the NICUs? I know that's one of your specialties over at Children's.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of research on that, and it's all dependent on their age. So here at Children's, I am able to work with infants as early as 32 weeks. And per the research, it shows that lullabies are the most appropriate at this time, just based on their development.
I can imagine.
But then as they start to get a little bit older, then I start to incorporate music that their parents like and kind of turn those into like the lullaby format. So yeah, it might be like a hard 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of song, but we'll swing it into a 3. And then, start to bring in some more of those developmentally more fun types of songs where there's like counting and colors and all of that kind of thing. So it just really depends on their age and how long they've been in the NICU.
Yeah. I can imagine that being really heartwarming at times too. There's something about lullaby music and seeing how tiny people respond to it that it's just so calming. So thank you for that question. I really appreciate it. If we have any more folks in the audience and you have questions about music therapy or about Melissa's specific practice at Children's, feel free to jot it down in the comments. No questions off bars here, okay? So continuing forth with the discussion, how can music therapy, I know that the ideal scenario is to seek one, but are there any general ways that music therapy can be implemented by people at home or in school settings?
Yeah, I think that kind of comes back to finding ways that you can use it for self-care and maybe not necessarily music therapy, because you will want the therapist there to help you in case, if maybe it depends really like what you want it to do too. But if you're starting to process some like kind of heavier emotions, you're gonna want someone there to like help get you through some of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are different like techniques you can use for self-care, whether that's doing some like mindfulness techniques, or some relaxation. That would probably be the route to go.
Nice. So again, if you missed the first half of the interview, go back and check it out for sure. But we were just talking about some of the common misconceptions between music therapy and the ways that is implemented for self-care. So you want to make sure you know the definitive difference for that. And the key thing with that is having a specific plan to work towards and through with the licensed therapist. How you've been working in this field for a few years now, and I know that you said that your friend put you onto it at 25, but as you've gone through everything, are there any helpful things that you wish you would have known before you chose this profession? And it's not necessarily saying that something that would have changed your mind, but just something that like probably would have, if I wish I would have known that, maybe I would have done this sooner or differently. I don't know. Are there any helpful things that you wish you would have known before you embarked on this journey?
Yeah, I will be honest. The coursework can be a lot. So, like, you're
Okay.
trying to practice your primary instrument, and then, retaining all that information that you're getting through your classes. And I think that wasn't something I was necessarily anticipating. But I would say, like, the positive is part of the coursework that you get, at least at Alverno. They give you practicums within your second semester there, so you can
Nice.
already like determine if this is the right career path for you within the second semester, because you're getting like a taste on a site and seeing like, oh, this is how it works. Is this cool? Is this not? Like, am I in? Am I out? So
Yeah.
that
I
was
love Alverno. Like I've had a lot of experiences there. I didn't go there, but like I've been there for events and performed there, and had friends that went through their different programs and graduated. So I love the fact that they're able to have something like that here in the city.
yeah.
And I can only imagine. Did you guys have to have juries or like proficiency exams on these instruments as well?
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
not only are you learning guitar and like piano in your courses, but
Uh huh.
you also get a primary instrument. So like mine was flute. So yeah, we would have
Mm-hmm.
like the juries and every semester. So
Yeah. So it's very similar to that of the music education degree path for anybody that's comparing. Like I had to, when I got my teaching degree, I had to learn everything as well. And I'll tell you the instrument that I do not like is the trumpet. I tell you, it is the most difficult instrument in the world to play for people who are not just with it, because you have to put your lips together thinly and blow through that thin space like an elephant. And I know it sounds simple and it probably looks like be free, what are you talking about? It looks easy. But when you are doing it into a tiny space, it creates so much back pressure on your face. So I almost passed out every single class. I have no idea how I passed the trumpet in school. So I loved the trombone
yeah.
and the tuba because those were really nice big mouthpieces. So it doesn't matter how well I had my embouchure. It was like, like that was really fun. So just a random tidbit. Cool. So I'm learning so much from this, and for anybody that has ever wanted to venture into music therapy but didn't know a whole lot about what it entails, I think this is a great starting piece for people to be able to dive into it. And also, if you're here in the city and you're of college age looking for a program, she just gave you a great one, the one that she matriculated through at Alverno, but also the website that she noted. Could you mention it one more time, Melissa?
Yeah, it's musictherapy.org.
Musictherapy.org. So if you're looking for any schools that offer this program and this degree, then that's where you can start, okay? For anybody at home, if you have any questions you want to throw in before we segue please feel free to jot them down. Melissa's here to answer and clear up any confusion or any misconceptions you have about music therapy, or just give you strong insight into the career. One of the things that we always close out the interview portion with is sound advice, because anybody who's watching, especially our young audience members, want to be able to give them a strong piece of advice that they can follow, especially if they are looking into similar or unique paths like this career. So is there a strong, lasting piece of advice that you can give to the youth?
If you want it, get it. I know that's like super specific, but in my background, so many people would tell me no and tell me like I can't do that, but I had a passion and I knew what I wanted. And so don't let what other people are telling you hold you back, and just go for it.
Oh, that is amazing. I feel like this is the year too, like especially after everything we went through, like in 2020, that splodge in history. Like there's no reason why anybody has like to not go after what they want, because you don't know what's gonna happen the literal next day. So I love that. And I love that we had this opportunity to connect on this very interesting and unique career path within the music field. That's all we want to do, is show people about all the possibilities of what they can attain for themselves. So thank you so much, Melissa. Guys, if you're at home, give a virtual clap. I also do air horns, Melissa. I throw them in every session. I don't, even if it's wildly inappropriate, it doesn't really matter. So if you are joining us and continuing to throughout the year, please know that our November session is going to be our last music lab session for 2021. But then we will have a furlough in December, and we'll return in January to continue with the rest of the season. Please make sure you do join us in November on the 19th, which is not the last Friday. We normally do the last Friday, but this one's moved up because of Thanksgiving. And we're going to have a really, really cool session on mixing and mastering volume 2 with Jeff Jackson. So excited for you guys to dive into that. If you were around last year for mixing and mastering volume 1 with Chris Classic, who ran us through that session he did for SZA, then this will be just as exhilarating. Trust me. Jeff is a friend of mine, and I know that you guys will like it. Also taking a moment to thank our sponsors once again for all of their wonderful support, which includes Advocate Aurora Health, American Family Insurance. Every time I hear that's what I hear in my head. So Daniel M. Seraph Charitable Trust, MPS Partnership for the Arts and Humanities, Ralph Evinrude Foundation, and of course, 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. We've been here with Melissa Neitzel of Children's Wisconsin. And can you please let us know at home a little bit about what they're getting ready to see with this last piece?
Yeah, so we're going to have you do a progressive muscle relaxation. And it's really just to help relax you from your head down to your toes. So you're going to go through different muscle groups, and you're going to just kind of tense it just a little bit and then release it. And hopefully by the end of that, you're feeling nice and relaxed.
So you guys are getting a free glimpse, okay? You are getting a free glimpse into a wonderful tool that's provided through the field of music therapy. So if you're at home and you want to try this out, then this is a great opportunity for you to do so. I'm going to be doing it over here behind my screen. So thank you so much again, Melissa, for being here. You are welcome back anytime. And if you guys have any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask us, you are more than welcome to hit us up at GWMusicLab.com, and you can also follow us on our Instagram and Facebook pages, which you can find at GW Music Lab. IMB free. Make sure you guys have a wonderful evening, and thank you again.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to begin the progressive muscle relaxation. So what I'd like you to do is to find a comfortable spot, whether that's sitting or laying on the floor. And then if you want, you can close your eyes, or you can stare softly at the wall or at the floor. We're going to be tightening muscles from head to the toes. And if at any point something starts to feel uncomfortable, just release it and relax and wait until the next set of directions. Okay, here we go. Slowly open your mouth and move your jaw gently from side to side. Now let your mouth close, keeping your teeth slightly apart. As you do, take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. While you tighten one part of your body, try to leave every other part limp and loose. Keep the tense part of your body tight for a few seconds, and then relax and let it go. Then take a deep breath and hold it. And as you breathe out, try to imagine making a candle flicker with a slow and steady stream of air. Bring your awareness to the muscles of your face. Wrinkle your forehead, squint your eyes tightly, tighten your jaw and your lips, and feel the tension. Briefly pause and be aware of it. Now relax and let go. Tension slipping away. Take a deep breath and hold it. And slowly breathe out. Think about the top of your head, your forehead, eyes, jaw, and cheeks. Make sure these muscles are relaxed. Continue to let the tension slip away and feel the relaxation replace the tension. Your eyes are relaxed, your tongue is relaxed, your jaw is loose and limp. All of your neck muscles are also very, very relaxed. Allow your face to continue becoming more and more relaxed as you now move to the other areas of your body. Now shrug your shoulders up and try to touch your ears with your shoulders. Feel the tension in the shoulders and neck, and hold that tension. Now relax and let go. As you do, you'll feel your shoulders joining the relaxed parts of your body. Take a deep breath and hold it, and slowly breathe out. Stretch your arms out and make a fist with your hands. Feel the tension in your hands and forearms, and hold that tension. Now relax and let go. Take a deep breath and hold it. Slowly breathe out. Imagine making a candle flicker. Move on to the relaxation of your chest. Begin by taking a deep breath that totally fills your lungs. And as you hold your breath, be aware of the tension around your ribs and slowly breathe out. relaxation as you continue breathing easily, freely, and gently. Keeping your face, neck, arm, and chest as relaxed as possible, arc your back. Observe the tension along both sides of your back, and briefly hold that position. Now relax and let go. Take a deep breath and hold, and slowly breathe out. Let that relaxation spread deep into your shoulders and down to your back muscles. You are becoming more and more relaxed. Each time you breathe out, feel the gentle relaxation in your lungs and in your body. As you continue to do these exercises, your chest and stomach area will relax more and more. Check the muscles of your face, neck, shoulders, arms, chest, and stomach. Make sure they are relaxed, and if they're not, take a moment to tense and release them again. Now begin the relaxation of your legs. Tighten the muscles of your upper legs and feel the tension, and hold. Relax and let go. Feel your legs relax. Take a deep breath and hold, and slowly breathe out and feel the relaxation pouring in. Notice the difference between tension and relaxation. Let the relaxation become deeper and deeper, and enjoy the relaxation. Now tighten your lower leg muscles. Feel the tension and briefly hold the tension. Now relax and let go. Take a deep breath and hold it. And slowly breathe out. Now tense the muscles of your feet and toes. Really feel that tension. Briefly hold it. And relax and let go. Feel all the tension slip away. Take a deep breath and hold, and slowly breathe out. Feel the tension leaving your body and the relaxation seeping in. You have progressed through all the major muscles of your body. Now let them become more and more relaxed. Continue to feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed each time you breathe out. Spend a few more seconds relaxing. Breathing in and breathing out. Begin to become aware of your breath. Notice the air of the room on your face. Feel the support of your chair or the floor beneath you. Become aware of your surroundings. Wiggle your toes and fingers as you continue to feel relaxed, but more aware of your surroundings. And when you feel ready,